Alright, and we're live for part 2, the thrilling conclusion of what we were doing earlier today. Make sure we're actually live and I'm not crazy. I think we are. This morning, I started looking at HUD buttons. Whatever, you can go back and watch the stream from this morning. It was not ideal. I'm about to scrap all that. We're not going to use the focused stuff for the UI in Unreal. We're gonna roll our own thing. I think I'll just set up a bunch of events on the player controller that'll call stuff into the HUD blueprint that'll change the menus around, and that's how we're gonna go. Sorry, my chat's not updating. Hey Shrill Llama. What's up, dude? UI, man. Get hype. Good morning. It's 2 here. Good morning, though. Hey, Root Lancer. Good morning. I've eaten food and forgotten everything I learned this morning, so this'll be good. My Twitch front end has frozen, but it looks like chat works, so we have that. So I write myself little notes. Disable focus system. Rebuild. Yes. So I disabled the focus system. Let's do this. Here's what we're gonna do. First, all the stuff I did this morning where I was saying set user focus, keyboard focus, all that. We're not using that. I'm just seeing if there's anywhere else I said it. Yep. Killing all of this. Okay, on the player controller. Getting rid of this. Okay. Hey ProPuke, what's up, man? So, what do I got here? Let me tell you what I got. On my game mode. Do I have game mode already cast and saved as a variable? No. Take game mode, cast it to game mode blueprint. So I can get all the variables I have on that. And find out if there is a bool. Ironically called is in game mode. That's not confusing at all. But what that means is I'm in the game. I want input to be focused on the game because you're playing the game rather like in the viewport rather than in the UI. So, and we're not going to set that. We're going to get game mode. Get is in game mode. When you push a button, when you push activation A, if you're in game mode, why don't you do this stuff? If you're not in the game mode, I guess on the HUD we have a custom event execute. What do I want to call the button that does things? Frob. Button hit. Execute. Button hit. Hey Bo, what's up, man? Interact. Button. How about button press? Interact. Call that in the player controller. Get HUD. Cast to HUD blueprint. Button press interact. And down here we'll have button release interact. Butter. Button. The fuck? If we're in game mode, do everything you're doing before, otherwise button release interact. It's going pretty good, Bo. It's about to go great though. We're gonna fucking crush this. It's time. So now I can detect when these buttons are hit. Now shit, you know, this might... Does this work if I still have the focus stuff up? Maybe... I don't think it did. I just want to try it one more time. Maybe I shouldn't have deleted all that focus stuff, huh? I mean, it won't, right? I'm just being silly trying to do it again. But like... Okay, so I can change between them. The question becomes... Hello? No, you're still technically going to be in game mode for this. By the way. Just game mode. I'm just proving this doesn't work, because it shouldn't work. Oh my god, I could just do this. Okay. You know what? Let's just do this. We are going to use their focus stuff. I do want to get rid of that outline eventually. Is it possible to keep the focus stuff but not show the outline? I swear to God, if that's like... Never. Alright, this is gonna work. This is totally gonna work. Okay. Oh my god, this is gonna be so much easier than I thought too. Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay. So we're going back to the way we were before. We do have a general purpose button. We are going to use their focus system. I actually don't know how to disable it. I know how to disable the outline, apparently, but I don't know how to actually disable the whole thing. But, okay, on the HUD we now know when you hit this interact button, which is enter space, the bottom gamepad button, and a number of other things. Any of those, if you hit those, this should trigger. So I think I want to use release. I won't worry about interact yet. Or really press yet. I mean, you do want something where when you hit a button, you like get that immediate click, and then when you release it, something happens. Let's focus on the something happening part. Hey Spastic, what's up, dude? So... Actually, let's just take this event dispatcher. Player, what were we calling this? I don't even need the HUD. Button press interact. Button press interact. How about HUD button press interact? So the player controller is just going to broadcast that. And then on the general button, I'm gonna bind when you're added to the focus path. Get the player controller. Cast it to the player controller blueprint. Make that pure. Bind events to I'm calling it twice. Wait, what the fuck? I'm doing a looping mouse check. What did I do? What did I delete? Sweet Jesus. Okay. That was never supposed to be there. Whoops. Shit. You're supposed to be unreleased, which is down here. Hey, thanks, Spastic. That's cool, dude. What do you want it to happen when you hit the button or when you release the button? What do you think? I think when you release. HUD button release. Okay. Once we focus on a button, highlight, on the canvas panel that holds the button, highlight the button, get the player controller, bind an event to HUD button, release, interact, sure. So where's the meat of what happens when you hit this button? I guess we'll keep that here. Can I execute clicked? No. Look, when you are clicked. How is that different from pressed? Whatever. When you are clicked, or actually when you're released. You invent dispatcher, which is execute. Execute. Sure. Call that. Also, bind this to the player controller and unbind it. You're not selected. Excuse me. Then that output delegate. Fresh. Did not. Sometimes you have to compile them in the right order. Maybe I didn't compile this. And then save it. Could be you just don't like that. Button. Execute. Fact. Okay. What are some of your inspirations for this game? Shit, man, I don't know. Where do ideas come from? It's just like it's like a bunch of things I like, I guess. I like most of the games I've worked on have some kind of element of music. I really like doing that. I enjoy strategy and grid-based games quite a bit. Like tactics games and grid-based games are my favorite for the most part. I kind of got super into puzzle games recently, so I started making this. I mean, it's not like... It's hard to say, because I technically started making it like after the Flame and the Flood launched, and back then I had no idea what I was making. And so it's not like there was one consistent influence the whole way through. You understand what I'm saying? I definitely loved La La Land. I thought that was like a brilliant film. And then that was kind of set the tone and the theme and the vibe for me. Like, I was really into that. I have most of my ideas while pooping. Sure. Sure. Most people go with the shower, but you know, to each their own. The point is bathroom stuff, I guess. That's where ideas could come from. Whatever works for you, man. I would hope you don't poop in the shower. That would be disgusting. Okay, blind event. Execute button. When this goddamn button is executed, this is what you'll do. Man, I hope all this wasn't... No, don't worry, you're fine. You're doing good. I swear somebody's just gonna walk over and show me like this was super easy and I had no idea. But yeah. I don't think I need to do this madness. Yes. I don't think it's underrated. I think it's well loved, Spastic. Like, I don't play indie games as much as I should for an indie game developer, and even I had heard of that and played that. I think Forrest was the one that told me that I would love it, and he was right. Or maybe it's just like really well loved within its niche. But yeah, I did like Steven Sausage Roll a lot. Like a lot. I'm glad I started this before that game came out. Otherwise, it would have influenced me too much, I think. Because towards the end, the direction he goes and the direction I go are totally different. So that's good. His game's sweet though. I love that. Alright, so we can switch between them. I'm not changing the text anymore. And they execute again. Oh, this is the best case. We did it, guys. We did it. It's working. Let's go back to setting the text on those buttons. Get rid of that set navigation bullshit. We're not calling shit every tick. This is brilliant. Good. So this is how it will be. Most of the ones we see on the screen right now are built in UE4. I'm not quite sure what you're asking, Proteus. I mean, it's definitely, this entire game is blueprint scripting. So there's things that get very, very nitty-gritty, like for the player when you're moving, I transform you every tick, and what I'm doing is I'm lerping you from one position in rotation to another, and that's all stored in variables, and like there's a lot here, but it is so far entirely in Blueprint. Not a fucking line of C++. Yet. Got nothing against C++, I'm just not a programmer. Would have been faster if I knew C++, but, you know, whatever. It's fine. It's more fun this way. It's a challenge. So. Like, I could have dug under the hood and figured out what the fuck is going on here. That would have been nice. But that's fine. This is good. Blueprints out of the box are extremely powerful. Proteus. I'm impressed. Blueprint nodes don't perform high-level behaviors. Sure. Like what? I think you mean low level, right? Because if you have access to math libraries, right, and you have access... I mean, what you can't do is things like decide where something is stored in memory, right? You can't access things very low level, but on a high level you can do pretty much everything. I'm just taking in a little victory moment here, because we just fucking got this button to work. There's a dust up on Twitter again about engines and shit. I honestly think people are way too angry on both sides of that. It's weird. Like, I think Klifsky did a post. I didn't even realize this is what everyone was mad about until after the fact. But like, Klifsky did a post making fun of Unity devs. And then like, everyone jumped up his ass. Stop being so toxic. It's like, shut up. Game developers are extremely opinionated. Because we should be, because we've staked our livelihoods in the way we're doing things. A lot of indie developers have their way that they think is good and that is right, and you'll get people who are adamant about their business strategies. You'll get people will bitterly debate, like, should you be free to play microtrans, or is it possible to be premium on mobile, and shit like this all the time. But for some reason, when it's like for some reason right now, people detect a lot of hostility when people are talking about, when there's debates about engines, which is silly. You should just accept that different people have different ways of doing things and have a healthy fucking conversation and debate about it. So I don't think so. I don't think this is a John Blow stream, man. I think this would be the opposite. Unless he's digging into UE4, which I doubt. Thanks, Michael. Sounds like Proteus is expecting nodes to do things like display an on-screen selection box. Well, you can make entire games in Blueprint without writing code. Wouldn't recommend it. I don't think Epic would recommend it either, to be honest. I'm trying. Remarch is correct. You can also just write most of what we do in actual game development. Not that this isn't actual game development, but it's not. Like in an actual studio where you have people, you start out with blueprint scripting, and then a programmer will come along and take all your nodes and munch them down into, you know, like a class in C++ that you then derive your blueprints from. And so as you figure out what the game is, you start hard-coding things more and more into code. And you kind of know how it works under the hood because you sort of were part of the initial setup of blueprints, but part of refactoring it into C++ cleans up the code anyway. Plus, like, you want more shit in code. It makes everything faster. Also, it makes everything, generally, when a programmer rewrites it, anytime you refactor something, you make it a little bit cleaner. Generally, you use, like, systems will merge. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Michael. And yeah, there's HLSL. There's an HLSL node in the material editor, which will let you get into all kinds of fucking trouble. I love it because for optimization it counts it as one instruction no matter how much shit you put in that HLSL block. You can fuck a project if you, if say you're working at, like, I don't know, Irrational Games, and you're one of a lot of artists, and they'll never find your material, and you just copy-paste random shit from the internet into an HLSL block. Shouldn't do that. It's high on the list of things you shouldn't do. All kinds of shit you shouldn't do. There is, like, a lot of the optimization at the end of a game is finding out all those little, oh, how do you put it? I forget the term for this, but programmers used to do this thing where they'd, like, take a block of memory near the beginning of the project and just allocate it, and then at the very end of the then they'd make all the artists, like, work really hard to try to get things within memory or within frame rate or whatever, and then they would just release that at the very end to get that last 5%. They'd be like, ah, we're actually there. That's no longer necessary. Like, some art intern will do that for you. At Irrational, somebody took the statue, like, there's this faraway statue that's massive in game, and like, it was like thousands of triangles, and they just shrunk it down real tiny and put like 50 of them in a basket to make, like, you know, like, to make a little souvenir stand. Like, somebody's, like, say you see the Statue of Liberty, now here's a basket of little statues of Liberty that you can buy. See, isn't it cute? And we couldn't figure out for the longest time why, like, every time we panned over that area, the frame rate would just go to shit. Oh, man. There's other things you can do on the art team. You can really just really fuck it all up. I think we were getting ready for... At the Molasses Flood, I don't remember what demo we were getting ready for. One of the downsides of Blueprint, I've talked about this before, is that, like, only one person can have it checked out. So if, say, Damian has the player controller checked out because he's doing some massive rework thing, well, you know, like, we structured things so that literally everything is on the player pawn or on the player controller. And he might need to have that checked out for, like, a week while he's moving shit into code. So... if you're an intrepid tech artist with a hard deadline, something you can do is just, like, go into another blueprint somewhere at a certain trigger volume or something when the player will be at a certain point. Just get the player controller, get the player pawn, and just start changing shit. Like, just override functions and stuff, and you can put that blueprint script in, like, a rock in the level or some shit, and that's terrible. Because you'll never find that later. If you'll just have a magic rock that destroys the game. Or worse, like, you'll have that rock and you'll get through that demo, and then you'll delete it out of the level, obviously. But, like, maybe later somebody's like, oh, fuck, we need rocks here, and then they just start throwing, like, 10 of those rocks down, and now you got, like, a massive problem, and nobody knows why. That's the thing. Anyway, yeah. That's enough fucking around. The point is we should be able to debate this stuff. It's fun. Also, I've committed some sins in my day. With regards to blueprint scripting. Oh god, now that I know I have a system that works, I'm bored. Because now the problem is just implementing it everywhere. Alright. Here we go. I didn't clip that. Somebody else specifically, like, I started this with a precursor. It was a... And also, I don't think that's on my Twitter. Also, fair note, like, I really do love the Unreal Engine. I wouldn't lie about that. I don't know, whatever you'll see. I'm a shill for Epic. It's true. I was talking earlier about how I have no marketing plan. My marketing plan is, mostly be really good friends with the guys at Epic and hopefully maybe be really good friends with the guys at Microsoft. That's a huge part of why I'm trying to get input control, like, controller input working now. So it would be nice to be able to send them a build. Because the truth is, like, I have no reach whatsoever, and the only reason the Flame in the Flood was successful was because we were at all these events that Microsoft puts on, and because we were included in the Epic booth at GDC so people could play the game, and stuff like that legitimizes you and gets you talking to the press. And it's literally the only way I can think of to get that, right? And if I can't get that just by working with them directly, then you kind of gotta go to a publisher. There's like no way to survive these days if there's just no way to get noticed. Like, there's no way to rise up above the noise. It's impossible unless you just kind of have to partner with somebody that's bigger than you at some point. I should be really big friends with you. Yeah, you're gonna get me free booth space. Because, like, there's these intangibles that are hard to explain. Like, if you're making a game in Unreal and you apply to the Indie Mega Booth and you get in, they'll cover your booth. So that's just like a couple $1,000s you don't have to pay. And then you're being shown in the Indie Mega Booth at PAX or PAX East, right? That's the kind of free marketing you need. At least, it's the kind of free marketing that's worked for us historically at the Molasses Flood. It's the only path I really know. These days. That or go with a publisher. Which I shouldn't shit on so much, it's not the worst plan. It's more fun if you don't. But, I gotta go with something. Alright. What were we gonna do? We were gonna get this working. We were going to... Oh god. Okay, so... Before I move absolutely everything over... Because if this works, I should do this for the main level select too, God help us. This is actually working and we like it, right? Delete my save. There's no... whatever. Oh, I should have done that with the controller. I gotta get used to doing this. Alright. I mean, that looks like it's working. What happens if I hit the B button? But that's not locked to anything yet. The other thing is, in Japan, the execute button is usually the right face button, the B. In America, that's almost always back. But I want it set up so that if I hit B here, it's escape. I think I do. What do you think should be? Right now B is undo. Which, by the way, I really do not like the effect I did there. Also, it's apparently hanging around forever now. That's new. Did I break that? Ah. I'm just targeting PC right now, Michael. I mean, I'm targeting PC. At some point, not now, but like in a couple months, I'll probably send a build of this to Microsoft and say, hey, I don't have money to port this, but if you give me money, I will. And see if that starts a conversation. And they'll most likely be like, who are you? And then I'll be like, my name's Gwen. And then most likely I'll just come out on Paisley. That's worth a shot. Face button can face right cancel. Nintendo Switch and US builds stick to the reverse. You mean they, B is, the back button? Yeah. No, I'm gonna not worry about that just yet. I think... Do I have it set up to always be call undo? Okay, in the weeds and something, it doesn't matter. Alright, I have the general purpose button. I don't think I need to add anything else to it right now. I don't think you need this. I don't think you need this. What are the concerns of porting if I have... The control input is the hardest part, because if you get that done, then it's like the porting process is mostly give it to an outsource house and say make this work on PC. Especially, that is one of the huge benefits of using an off-the-shelf engine. It pretty much like I know loads of people that just have an Xbox dev kit that work in the industry, or I can just slide them like, I don't know how much, slide them some money and they'll just do it on the side. There's a lot of people in the industry, especially if you work in AAA, that have access to all the things they need, already have the dev kits and shit, and like know how to do this, and it would be really easy. That being said, I mean, your concerns moving to a console are your controls and optimization, and then generally in the case of Unreal, if you have any plugins, a lot of those, just because they're integrated well, like Fmod may be really well integrated into the end editor for PC, but for some fucking reason maybe not so great if you're using a console. Like, you tend to hit snags there. Most program, like the meat of the, because this engine is made to make cross-platform games, most programmers can get a dev kit up and running with your game within like a week or less, right? I mean, there's just a lot of pain in the ass in setting up a dev kit too. There's just weird crap you run into, right? Just setting up a dev kit, which I'd rather not do if I could help it. It's better to pay someone else to do that. That's already got one set up and can just do it. That's about where my mind is with that. Though that's pretty lazy. In the incredibly unlikely event that I do end up trying to make a build for the Xbox One, I would get an Xbox One dev kit. I feel like that would be appropriate. I feel like I should grow the fuck up and do that. It's just always such a pain in the ass. Like, oh. There's the problems that are fun and there's the problems that aren't, and that's one of the ones that isn't. I can't even articulate what goes wrong. It's just like something always goes wrong. I mean, people are welcome to shout okay and cancel at their screams. Pro-puke. I just won't. I'm not sure anything will happen if they do that, but hey. In reality, a game, I was talking earlier about, like, I think puzzle games, the kinds like this that you can just drop into and out of, do a lot better, or are ideal for mobile devices and things like that. It's just I've never made a tablet game. I have no idea how to go about that. I don't want to make a touch interface. That's, like, it's not the kind of game I play. I could totally see porting this to the Switch, but I know nothing about porting to the Switch. Nintendo's not, like, they're not desperate enough to, like, pay me to port it to the Switch. I don't think I'll have a game that makes sense. Like, I don't think Nintendo doesn't do exclusivity deals as far as I know. Whereas, like, The Flame that Fled was a 1-year exclusive on the Xbox One, right? I kind of know people there from that. And I don't know how much Sony does that stuff so much, but even if they did, I don't really have any contacts there. But yeah, I would... like, the Switch would be cool. I don't know. It's a lot of work to make a game already. Like, I'm already got 90 man days left here to make the PC version. Which includes controller support. We're working on one of the days right here. I mean, they kind of do. Sorta. Just doesn't always work good. Like, you can package the project. No, you can't. Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I sent a Steam key to Steve Lavelle and he emailed me back and he was like, is it on the Mac? And I thought about it. I was like, I could try to make a Mac build, but I don't own a goddamn Mac, and no. You hipster scum. I'm kidding. I don't own a Mac. I would have no way to test it. That's the biggest problem with this sort of thing. Like, people ask for a Linux build, but I don't own a Linux box. So it's... And it's... That in particular is super non-trivial. It's like... No, I've an aversion to Mac products. I'm not gonna lie, I do hate them. I just do. I am hard in the... I use an Android device, and I fucking hate Mac products ever since that stupid, like, one-click mouse thing. It's like, I need 3 buttons on my mouse. You literally stepped backwards with the mouse situation, Apple. The hell are you doing? I find their interfaces for their phones, like, it makes me mad because everybody else understands it and I don't. Like, I swear to God, people somehow intuitively understand how to use these iPhones and shit, and I just don't. Like, it just doesn't work for me. Something in my brain does not, like, understand iPhones, and I hate that because I think I'm probably smartish, but, like, I can't use an iPhone. They drive me crazy. Why the fuck doesn't it have a back button? Like, why? It's so simple, like a universal back button. No, every application has its own, you know, its own theory about going back that it's gotta, like, figure out on its own. And I mean, that's great. I mean, it lets you be original and unique and stuff. And, you know, power to you if you wanna, you know what, and maybe your special application needs its own sophisticated backness situation, but, like, it's kind of nice that on an Android I just hit one button and that button always goes back in every application, you know? Like, maybe I am just too stupid for the iPhone. Like, I don't... I hate Mac stuff. I don't like their computers. It's not... It's whatever. I am very lazy. I don't like learning new things. You can build the console, but your engine has to be approved to do so. I see. Yeah, this is the shit I just always let the programmers do at work. There's a lot I take for granted. Whenever I want my phone to go back, I shake it. That sounds like a cool app, pretty much. I like it. This isn't hate, it's fine. I hate myself more than anything. Pro-puke. Just got a lot of energy today because I just figured out a UI thing. Also, I'm stalling because I don't want to do all the work that comes now that I've figured out the UI thing. If you've ever thought, I wish my device would, you don't own an Apple device. I wish my device wouldn't be an Apple device. No, there's no hate. That's terrible. Yeah, I am being hateful today. That's wrong. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'll go back to being good. I know I'm wrong, because, like, everyone uses the iPhone, and everyone loves their fucking MacBooks. And I don't like mine. And I can't. Like, I was in a car, and my friend was like, here, open up Waze, because we're on a road trip, and I just... 5 minutes passed of me just hitting things on this phone, and it just... I just handed it back. I was like, no. No, we're gonna have to navigate without that. I can't do this. My streams make you think you'll never finish your game? Why, Raymarch? We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Jesus. We'll get there. I believe. This game will get done. Your game will get done. All games will get done. Eventually. Give it enough, you know. Or they won't. Whatever. Fuck it. Have a good time. You better fucking believe this game is happening, Raymarch. This game is happening. I love it too much. I've given way too much up for it already. I don't think there's a choice at this point. Oh, thanks, dude. Thanks for the show support. You're worried you're not going to finish your game? Why? Because I'm distracting you? You don't have to be here, man. Go make it happen, Raymarch. I'm not worth it, bro. Sorry. Alright, let's get back to work, Raymarch. You're right. I mean to be so distracting. Yes, the film. Okay, when I was in film, we used Max too, that's right. I hated it then, but at the time, the software on Max was so much better than Premiere that I don't think we had a choice, really. They did have superior software. Man. That was the holy war back when I was in college, like 10 years ago. Because I went to a tech school, and it was... The film students, like, couldn't give less of a shit. We were all high. But, like, the programmers would bitterly fight over whether or not the Mac was the ideal thing to, code with. Like, at the time, Mac... I think Apple came through RIT and gave, like, heavily discounted MacBooks to any of the engineering students. Well, basically to all the students. The entire student population could... Anybody could buy a MacBook for like 25% of the normal cost. Because, you know, you want to get into the schools. You always want to convince specifically programmers in tech schools to use your stuff, because then they fall in love with it, and then they go start companies, and they work at companies, and they recommend your stuff, and so forth and so on. So, and Mac was trying to, like, get in with the programmers, and it worked. There was, like, a bitter, I don't know. What do you want to call it? It was a strong conversation at the time. I'm pretty sure we've lost viewers. Pretty sure nobody gives a fuck what I think about Mac. And that's fine. They shouldn't. My opinions are shit. Oh yeah. I'm sure there was fierce debates very much. I'm sure there's still fierce debates. Nobody is more... I mean, I talk about this a lot, but about once every week or two, we get somebody emailing us about Linux, like, every time. The thing is, like, it's a very vocal minority that is into Linux. And you can prove that, and you can show them the numbers. And most of the time, like half the time, we say, no, we're not going to do a Linux port, and they're like, oh, okay, oh well, I bought it on this anyway. And they're like, they don't care. And half the time, they do care, and they're mad about it. A common one I'll get is, you're using UE4. Can't you just compile for Linux? And that's why I'm really mad, because, like, yeah, there is the button to package for Linux, but in a real game, like not this game, where you have mods and things, you don't know which blueprints will compile for Linux and which ones won't. It's not the most obvious thing. If nobody at your studio uses Linux, then it becomes a real difficult Like, when I game, I use a controller sometimes, I use a keyboard sometimes. When I play this game, like, as I'm testing, I'll test on one or the other, I'll switch between them, it's no big deal, but... And there's kind of like an organic thing that happens when the people at your studio use the hardware, you know, where it just ends up being pretty well tested. Because you have QA, but there's no QA like the developers doing a thing, and getting the feel to be right. Like, you can make an entire game with mouse and keyboard, and then implement controller support at the last minute and go send that out to QA, but that won't necessarily feel good. You know what I mean? Because the developers didn't have it in mind while they were working, and I don't know, it's like, just goes into like, if nobody at the studio uses Linux, and there's nobody that, there just isn't a huge market for Linux, it accounts for like, the amount of money we would have to put into making a Linux build is more than the amount of money we would get from people buying the Linux build. It just reaches a point where it's like, no, this literally doesn't, the math literally doesn't make sense. And then every time, yes, also every time you make a build and you push it out because you have a bug fix, you have to do it for every SKU. I don't use Blender Skarn, no. Yeah. Yeah, Proteus, I occasionally just hate on Linux people because I never, like, you never... Oh, that's not true. I don't know why I hate on Linux people. Maybe it's just fun to be hateful. Maybe they're easy. It's easy to kick them. Because they just get mad so easily. I just want to harass the Linux users. I think there's an argument for supporting Mac. There is enough user base there. Like, a decent enough percentage of our users on Steam were Mac users. Especially if you're making kind of like indie kind of artsy games. They kind of... The word hipster scum comes to mind when I think of the average Mac user, but there's a kind of like, you know, like a lot of artists use Macs, and so a lot of the kind of people that buy indie games and stuff use Macs. And there's a lot of people I love and respect that use Macs. So, it's fine. I just make fun of them because I'm hateful. This is the hateful stream. Yeah, you summed that up well, Proteus, I agree. I don't see a lot of people using Blender yet, Skarn, in game dev, and I don't follow it very closely, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it's doing in film and TV and stuff. I mean, I don't know anybody that uses Blender, but I'm like old and set in my ways, I guess. Most of the people I know have jobs in the industry. Maybe Aslak uses Blender. I might know one developer. Let's check this out. I don't know, he might actually be using Maya here. This is the only person I can think of that might be using Blender that I know personally. I mean, you can say it's ignored professionally in America, MJ Brune, absolutely, but I don't know about around the world. Blender is more supported in South America. People there take it more seriously. From my vague understanding. And you can argue that basically there's no rules in the indie space and Blender is free. And the indie space spans a lot more than America and Western development. And so I bet there's places in the world that use Blender quite seriously. But I'm not sure. Some of my best friends are Macs. Wait, what are you going here? Don't call your target audience scum. Hipster scum is a well-known... Yeah, I know. Is my target audience hipsters? Am I a hipster? Yeah, okay. They did take down the really grimy corner shop and put in an artisanal pickle store up the street, so we might just be hipsters now. I don't know, guys. Oh, Ray March used Blender? No shit, okay. Sorry, I'm reading backwards. Alright, yeah. A lot of Blender users in here. There you go, see, I was wrong. Oh, Port Ponky, welcome to the party, man. This is the hateful stream where we hate a lot. Do I have any programmers using Linux at Molasses? Well, we are 4 people, and 1 programmer, and he does not use Linux. We did get him a Mac, though. Actually, I think he has a Mac at home as well. And he has the dev kits. So he's set in that regard. But, no, I don't think he's a Linux guy. So now you're turning people into hipsters? Isn't that what gentrification is? A place starts out like a reasonable price, and then a bunch of like hipsters move in, and then all of a sudden you got artisanal pickle stores and shit. And then the rent gets jacked up. Is that what... Basically that's what's happening in my life right now, so I don't remember what the question is. Maybe I'm just venting. There you go. Do you get turned into a hipster, or are you just born that way? I think you start out hipster because you have no choice. And then you get money, and then you stop being a hipster, and you... I don't know. I'll tell you what happens when you get there. Somebody else will have to tell me what happens when you get there. Buy a sports team or some shit, I don't know. Apparently there's no in between. You're a hipster or you own the Dallas Cowboys. I secretly want to open an artisanal pickle store. No, I'm just really blown away that there is such a thing as Grillo's Pickles, and that they now have a permanent location in the Somerville area. That's really, there's a fucking artisanal pickle store. Like, I'm not fucking with you. I bought some. Because I like pickles. And I was like, well, shit. I mean, this is here now. Like, what choice do I have? It's basically like kimchi, but not... I don't know. It seems right. I'm into it. You don't believe me? Here. Grillos. I don't have pics of the pickles. However, you can look at this nice bearded man talk about his pickles, should you so desire. Ah, you're also in Cambridge? I was not born with a beard, ProPuke. It didn't happen. What, am I gonna hide the blinking tutorial icon? Huh. Now it's gone. Alright. Should we get back to work, maybe? I suppose. That's just for you, ProPuke. This is why people watch me ostensibly, right? Because we do things here. Or he's just got nothing better to do, I feel ya. Oh, right, this is working and I gotta make it work everywhere. Okay. So... it's reasonable, Proteus. Let's do the easiest one first. In my main UI screens, when you unlock a stage, you're going to places with okay, we're just not gonna do that. General button. When the button is hit, we will return to the main menu. Words here continue. So And that feels a little like stuttered, doesn't it? Stat FPS. Oh god. What the hell's going on there? That was not like that. Only happens when I'm turning the camera. Alright, I'll hunt that done later. Doesn't happen when I swivel. Only when I'm executing that one function. Poop. Alright. Anyway, thing we're doing. So this, right, can't get out of it. Forgot to set focus. I need unlock stage widget. You need to be focusable. You are, okay. Also, on the HUD, when we start this menu, change the UI to stage unlocked, remove the current UI. Set. Get continue, sorry, get button. What do we got? General button. Let's name that something logical. Let's call you continue button. This keeps me out when it does this thing. Like there's some kind of glitch. That will go away, but in the meantime, what the fuck is that? Continue button. And focus. Set keyboard focus. Good. Poor Ponky, are you linking porn? God damn it, poor Ponky. So I need to, no, I would like to get rid of that. Okay. And it's selected. You can tell because it's a hideous shade of green. You can't get off of it. You can hit. The execute does nothing. Bind event to execute. Wrong thing. I know why. So need to set is in game mode to be false and then true again after you've hit execute. Right? No, because it'll take you to the main menu, so you'll stay in game mode. So I guess it's fine if we just say after a stage is unlocked, this is always a dead end. Should we assume that? We need to clean up this whole game mode concept, which is also overloaded because the game mode blueprint is where most of the game lives. So find everywhere I'm setting game mode. This is a bool that determines if my UI should be locked into the viewport or not. Is in game mode. Find references to that. Alright, I'm gonna try saying we only set is in game mode on the HUD blueprint, because this just makes calls to the HUD blueprint. So this variable is going to be managed from there. We're just going to see how that goes. So anytime we exit, do you want to do it when we exit things or when we enter things? In game mode is true. Anytime we get rid of that, gameplay HUD is in gameplay mode is false. There's only one weird little edge case, which is when you have this pop-up, but you could return to game mode, which I've handled. Now what? Cast a HUD. HUD state is gameplay HUD or alright, so if the HUD was currently in gameplay mode or section unlocked mode, there we go. Do everything you need to do with the camera. Okay. If you're coming from the main menu, do this. There should be no other case. The only other case is none. So this actually handles every case. What's the last good film I saw? You know, I just got around to seeing Hidden Figures, like last week, and it was pretty good. I actually really liked it. I thought it'd be like, I don't know. It was good. I don't know what to say. Like, I really liked it. Okay, what was... And we're back. 2 screens down. You know, the real shit show, though. The reason why I'm dreading this is because, like, I have no plan for this. I have no plan for this UI. For controller support for this UI. Like, there's just no plan there. Zero plan with whatever the fuck I'm gonna do here. Maybe I could set up this one though. So this is a simple screen, like big button in the middle. Got maybe a button over here. You go up and down over here. Got a button over here. Pops up other options. But yeah, this screen though. Oh god. Thinking about that screen makes me tired. something else for a while. Oh god, rework the music system. The undo effect is busted. The undo effect is busted. To be fair, that's because I busted it. I hate that. Ugh. Let's just not for now. So I can check in. Laziness is starting to creep in. I want to change this to be a smear effect. I feel like as an animator that would be cool. I should be the one to figure that out. I feel like I could figure it out. I will admit nothing immediately comes to mind though. Oh, the list of things to do is long and full of shit I don't want to do. This is the thing I gotta consider. So, in order to win a level, you need a character on each of the music stands, right? Well, kinda. A music stand gets used up as soon as you use one. Oops. Wait, that won't work. God damn it. Okay. So, here's several problems. One, I can hit these buttons to switch back and forth between these two. there's nothing to stop me from going between these two characters, because technically that other character is just kind of hidden. That's an ish. Two, I'm not sure if I even want them to be hidden. I don't know what I want to have happen. I'm not even sure if I like the... Like, I think it might be useful to be able to switch back and move him. As opposed to locking him out. I don't think they should have to fly away until the very end. Wait, why is this happening now? Man, the controller is... There's a ghost in the controller. Like, I think she should hit this and then they should fly away. And until then, the drum is still there, just waiting. Like, how do we say one character is at their mark and the other character's gotta get to their mark? What do we want that to look like? Add undo. I mean, there's some kind of nice and final about the character flying away. It would change the game if you could just switch back to them slightly. I'm in a ring chat. I'm not using sockets to attach them, I'm just attaching them. Propuke. Here's a quiz question. What happens if one robot is on top of another and the lower one exits? Shut up, Port Ponky. So, that doesn't solve my immediate problem. What do I want this to look like? Hey, stay thirsty. You should try it, Port Ponky, and report back. Oh. Shit, I don't know what I want to do. We solved the UI stuff. Maybe I should stop streaming and figure it out. Lunch was good, Sniper. The thing is, I thought I'd have like another 4 hours of button work to do, but instead that just kind of got done real fast. And I guess I could go back to working on the main menu, but like I'd rather not. So yeah, it's not an existential crisis. It's more like I don't know what I want this to look like. And I kind of want to go for a walk and just think about it. He's a nice guy. Yeah, I think I'll stop streaming. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what I want this to look like. I mean, I think I want them to puff a smoke away. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna go figure it out. You guys, I don't know, do you have any questions? I feel like if you did, you would have said them already. You don't feel like the sort that just sort of waits, sitting, waiting for the right opportunity? Are you just deciding the animation look? Both, Proteus. I think... I don't know the gameplay implications in some of the levels. I don't think I have any level where you have to... Yet, though I was kind of planning on doing it. Where you need to clear one away so that you have... so that you can get another one to their location. So I was kind of always planning on, like... you clear the board one at a time. I'm pretty sure I just want to keep that. That's like a... that's the mechanic. But is that unnecessarily harsh? Should I let you switch back? I'm not wearing socks, Pro-Puke. I'm wearing slippers right now. Let's assume I go with the way things are now. Let's even assume their music stands. Let's assume it all stays the same. Because, yeah, why not? If I do that... if things are the way they are now, then what I want to have happen is... holy shit, what is going on with the frame rate? Oh, it's because the focus is on the Twitch chat. Okay. Fucking heart attack. Alright, let's just at least set it up so you can't switch if a character is in a one state. That should be easy. Because that's basically just a bug right now if we're gonna go with things the way they are. So, game mode. Okay. Available tracks. They're added when we load the level. So I need like loaded tracks and available tracks. Or when you win, I can pop you off of the available tracks, and then when you undo the win, I can pop you back on. Yeah, that makes more sense, probably. So in the player pawn under win, level 1. If you are loaded game mode, keys, pawns attached. Press 1. Okay. This is the path you go down, right? Current level type is combo. First, yeah, unlock that. Then get loaded levels for each. Get the player pawn from each loaded levels. So this is getting all the other pawns. And I've already set you to 1. Tracks. Remove item. Get track. When you undo a win, there was some way to add, like, I miss pop from Python, which would not only remove it, but would remove, it would like truncate the array, like remove white spaces. What do we have under array? There's gotta be a way to do that. Shuffle? No. Move item. Can you just remove and also shrink the array? Make the array smaller? Not gonna happen. Okay. Whatever, I'll deal. So, available tracks, add unique. Dogs do not lay eggs. My eyes are the color of blue. That kind of puzzle might suck. What? Okay. Both options. Yeah, Proteus. That's true. That's why I don't want to change it. I do have 12 combo levels left to make. Edwin's correct. I suck. I'll get to that later. I don't know Stephen Lavelle. I don't know what he would do. You tell me, Port Monkey. It would probably involve the word love. Seems really into grid stuff. Probably into grids. May or may not be in English. Might be in German. I don't know. He would probably stop working on this and make it like a Linux port. Probably not. I don't know. I don't know the guy. He's probably not a Linux guy. Blueprint arrays are actually implemented as linked lists, and removing effectively resizes them automatically. Really? Shit. What? No, because I can still get them from... That's not true. Remove item doesn't. Maybe. He is making a game every day, Port Pocky. I've been playing those. Like, that's my new thing. Right before I go to sleep at night, I play the latest Steve Lavelle game. He's fucking cranking. Oh my god. Alright, God, where he finds that kind of energy. Add unique. So remove, though, will do it, you think? He's prolific. He is making a lot of games very quickly. And they are quite good. Okay. Thank you, Proteus. I mean, I could test it. For fuck's sake, we could always... Because I'm about to do this several times, so we'll just, when I do this, let's just... for each of it on the available tracks, oops. Let's just splice this in here. Print the track. And we'll see if we get any gaps. And that'll let us know. Wait, what are you guys talking about? no longer know if we're talking about a game designer, lunch meat, or what forum posts say about arrays. I'm just at a complete loss right now. Not this. Yes, that. No. There's a couple ways to do this. Not that way though. Jesus. Okay. So if I go there and then I undo, we'll find out. Drum accordion. Yeah, you're right. The remove didn't leave a blank array. Cool. Okay. So now can I switch? I cannot switch. Okay. Shit. Thank you, Proteus. You were correct. I was worried for nothing. Alright, so that solves that. I can't click him to switch. I can't use a controller. I can still hit this button though. So now to fix the button on the HUD. Not you. When you're clicked. Should I add it right to the switch tracks? Like, just don't let you switch tracks if you've won. Yeah, I can't think of a reason why that would be bad. Okay, so if this is not the current track, and also if you get the pawn for that track, and it's not in the one state, so get loaded level, mapping, get, or find this track, split that struct, give me the pawn. If this state is not equal to 1, so if this and this. What am I doing? Okay, so now, it didn't automatically switch. Why? Why didn't you switch tracks? God damn. When you win. Player pawn. Not really too much coffee. I mean, it's only 4. At some point, I should go on a walk. You should not sit all day, every day. Or even most days. You should walk. Just a little. I'm getting older. If I don't use my body, I will lose it. It will just break. Trust me, it's already started. There's a reason I'm in this damn recliner. I threw out my back. Also, I look like a fucking maniac, sorry. Where's the thing that says if you're gonna before it was automatically switching, right? I'm not crazy. I guess it wasn't. I am crazy. It must not have been. What? Let's check the Steam build. Or here, like I have a build on my machine. There's a build from a couple days ago. Never mind, here's a build from last night. Some bonus testing. Is it this one? No. I just getting the same fucking... Fuck it. Alright, so... I don't remember which one we were using. It does not switch. I never set that up. Every single time that happened, I was clicking. Okay, well, let's make that happen. So, other thing we want to do is, before we remove you from the available tracks, switch game mode, switch to next track. Then remove from available tracks. I know the feeling, stay thirsty. No, because I'm not removing the current. What the fuck did I just open? Oh, I'm in the wrong. Because I'm not. What I'm removing should not be the current track. I'm declaring that on the pawn, and I'm declaring to remove self, so that should be fine. Here, I'll show you in a sec. When I'm done being ridiculous. So you should, yeah, that did work. No, there was no way for you to know that based on what you were saying. I don't think so anyway. Because, like, this is all calling events and functions I've set up in other blueprints, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm calling switch to next track on the game mode, which will switch to the next track. Then I'm going, after that all executes, it'll come back to here. It'll say get available tracks, which is on the game mode blueprint. Remove the current track. And then I'm still, all this blueprint is running on the pawn. And on the pawn, like that I'm manipulating, I'm saying set the mesh to be hidden after a 22-second delay, which is enough time for it to fly up. I feel ya. So that's 2 good bugs done. We've still got a lot to go there. It would really change the game if I said that the characters hung around after combo level 1. But on the other hand, I'm really not afraid of drastically changing the game for the combo levels because they largely are untested. And they're the easiest thing in the world to change. If I change something on like one of these levels, each level impacts every other level and it's a huge pain in the ass, right? Whereas like these are just basically like the levels comes out, pops away, the next one comes out, so changing any given level for these is so trivial. Like, I'm not afraid of it. Stitching these together is a goddamn nightmare that I wish I didn't bother doing in hindsight. Don't know if it was worth it. I do know it wasn't worth it. I got nothing. I got no joy from doing that. It's just gonna be a constant pain in my ass, but now it's done and it's kinda cool, so I gotta keep it. Yeah, all the other projects are really big and I want to think before I do any of them. I want to go for a walk, guys. I'm going to take off. For real this time. This is not a drill. The earlier one, that was a test. You failed. I failed. This is a standard feeling for me. I'm used to it. Port Ponky is used to it as well. Not today, stay thirsty. That was a... I don't get high very much. It's very rare. These days. It depends. I used to get really... Honestly, like... I'm kinda glad Steam Spy is done. Because that thing would just send me down this fucked up depression spiral. Especially back when... Like, this is easy, because I'm just making a game that I want to make and I'm happy and it's fun. But, like, at the Molasses Flood, when we were... You take a look at every prototype and everything you're doing and you're like, okay, is this the prototype we're going with? Is this market viable? How market viable is it? How much money do we need to make this? Versus how much money do you think we'll get out of it? Versus, like... And then you go on Steam Spy and you look at how much similar games are making, and you don't want to do this, but you gotta do this. Even if you don't want to do this, you do this anyway. You do your due diligence, and then you freak out because you can't make heads or tails of why some things succeed and some things don't. None of it makes any fucking sense. And then you just lose your goddamn mind. And that was back when I would smoke more. But yeah. Financial success, Port Ponky. I would argue that is true. There's also other things, like, it was really important to me at first that I come out this year. Especially looking at all the E3 announcements that are happening in, like, February. It's like, oh shit, I had better come out this year. And then I thought about it with Kine. Like, what's the point of even... Like, there's no way I'll punch through the noise if I don't come out this year. And I thought about it, and I felt that way for a while. And now I'm just kind of like, well, it'd be a shittier game if I forced it out this year, or I'd have to, like, give up on other stuff in my life to make time to make this game. And even then, it'll be a shittier game, because, you know, that's just how it is. And, like, you just need a certain amount of time. And that's not worth it. And who even knows? Like, some of those games in February are probably gonna slip. I don't know. It's all whatever. I was thinking about doing a talk like that, Proteus. Because I'm supposed to give a talk in November, and I'm not sure what to give it about. And I've asked different people, and they all have different advice. Like, Elmore says you should give a talk. People like the talks where you know, tell them a story. So tell them the story of, you know, your career. And the console, the people who are actually running the conference that invited me to speak, they said it would be great if you gave a talk about starting an indie studio. So it was like maybe back to basics kind of stuff. And I was thinking, I might just call the talk Everybody Cheats. Because the truth is, everybody I know that's successful has a serious advantage. And you can't leverage their advantage. Either they were doing exactly the right thing at the right moment, or they were like... I mean, like, how am I gonna tell you, okay, the Molasses Flood shipped us... People think it's a very successful indie game, right? And I'm really happy with what we did. Why did we get the deals we did? The exclusivity deal with Microsoft, and why did we get featured in Game Informer? Why did we get that stuff? Well, because we were a bunch of AAA devs that shipped the Game of the Year, and then were immediately laid off a year later. So what's my advice? Go do that, get into a AAA studio, ship the Game of the Year, and then fucking get laid off? I think that's a really weird advice. Also, not very actionable. Like, I can't recommend that. Like, that's not a way. All you can do is, in those moments when you see an opportunity, you take advantage of it. I think that's all anybody does. Work really hard. Take advantage of the opportunities that do present themselves. Recognize them when they come up. That's it. Like, there's no more beyond that. Like, the minutia is all just whatever happens to be happening in your life where you are. Oh. That's the other thing. I feel really weird giving advice to people overseas because a lot of the advice I give in America and in like Western countries would be, you have no idea what you're in for. Go work at a AAA studio briefly for a couple years. Just to, like, especially if you're an artist or designer, the number of times people come out of school, they don't even fucking know what source control is. Like, just have no goddamn clue. And I don't even know how to articulate what you don't know, because, like, it's been so long since I've been in that headspace that I can't even wrap my mind around what you don't know. I don't know what you don't know. Like, I just take it for granted at this point, right? So my advice is always go work at a AAA studio first, or at an established studio, but the reality is if you're in, like, not a Western country, you can't just go do that. That just isn't a thing. So, what is the right advice? You have other opportunities I'm sure you can take advantage of. Like, overseas they have, like, grants and shit for the arts that go to video games, which is insane to me as an American. But, like, or you got, like, you can tap into current events in your country. You can tap into, like, inside jokes and things that only make sense in your country. There's a reality that, especially for humor does not localize well. Things like puns don't localize well. There's things that you can do specifically for your audience that no one else can do. And I guess, but I can't say what they are because I'm not you. So that's impossible, right? And that's also like a weird talk. I don't know, whatever, fuck it. I'm a programmer who doesn't love what I do and would love to work in games, but it's tough to make the switch, since it sounds occasionally awful and uncertain at a minimum. Depends. We tend to highlight the negative. It's a great time. And the thing is, like, different studios have different cultures and are very, very different. And what you think of is awful, other people might really like, and vice versa, right? Like, I know people on the Sims team worked in the same game for over a decade. Super happy, never worked more than 8 hours. A lot of people have families. And that's common in, actually, at Firaxis. Similar situation. A lot of families, not a bro culture at all. Very family culture. A lot of, there are studios like that. Then there are studios that crunch you to death, like Naughty Dog or Crystal Dynamics. And then there's studios that, like, and it's not like all indie studios are some bastion of creativity, and it's not like all AAA studios are some fucking grind box, you know? Every studio is different. And so a lot of it's more just about finding your fit. And also recognizing that what doesn't fit for you might fit real well for someone else. Like, I love the boom and bust ball. Like, historically, I mean, I guess I'm older and I should stop loving it, but, like, I like crunch. And you're not allowed to say that. But, like, structured crunch is fun for, like, a couple months. I liked that I crunched my ass off, made the game of the year, and then took 6 weeks off after Bioshock Infinite. Like, paid 6 weeks off, just leave. That was great. I enjoyed that immensely. A lot of people fucking didn't. Like, it's different for different people, you know? Whatever. This is a very controversial thing to say, too, because we're, like, talking about unionizing and stuff. Yeah. Would you recommend trading in one's family at a GameStop? That was the other thing. We had to explain to people that it's illegal to ask in an interview if somebody has children. Like, you're not allowed to ask that, man. Yeah. Absolutely, Proteus. Like, I did a lot of bonding with the people I crunched with. Getting laid off is a great way of bonding. It's fucking terrible for some people, obviously. And it, yeah. But man, there's nothing like a major layoff at a major studio to really scatter your network to the winds and really get you, like, you'll know people everywhere. Go through, like, 2 of those freaking layoffs, you know the entire industry. I know people at every goddamn studio now. No, stay thirsty, they'll come at you, man. Like, if you can get sued for asking if you ask somebody in an interview if they have children and then you don't hire them, you can get sued for that. They won't put you in jail. They'll take your money. And the margins aren't super big at a lot of these studios, so it's not always the easiest thing. Gotta stay on the right side of the law. The Molasses Flood is actually going to be hiring soon. I'm really, really excited. Not yet. It's one of those fucking soon. Soon, Proteus. And it is a fun place to work. It is the best. I don't know what we're hiring first. It'll be very slowly and it'll be a very small number of people. I mean, I know the list, but I don't know which one comes first. Most likely a junior programmer. After today, yeah guys, we're looking for a UI programmer. After all this shit talking. Have you seen Gwen's stream? Yeah, we need a fucking UI programmer. That might not be wrong. I'm not sure yet. I have to ask Forrest. We'll find out. I'll report back one of these streams when I actually know stuff. It always takes it takes a very long time. It's between, like, when you start seeking funding and then when you get the short form and then you get the long form and then you get everything signed and then you get money in the bank, and it's just like the delta there is months to a year. It gets excessive. Alright. For real this time, I just don't feel like working anymore. I need to go. Be real honest. Like, anything I do now, I have to sit and think about, I think. And I don't want to stream thinking, because that's weird. Yeah, I'm claiming I'm gonna go for a walk. I really will, though. I have to. Because I'm out of soda. I've managed to go a couple days without soda. I might just lean into it. I ran out of soda a couple days ago, and I've just sort of dealt with it. And I've gone to a place where I don't have headaches. And my sleep is better. So the right thing to do is just not get the soda. But I'm me. So I probably will. I was up to like over 2 liters a day for a while there. I really need to cut back. My sleep is getting real fucked. You get an endorphin response from mild pain. Alright, Port Bonky. Well, on that note, it's been real. Goodbye, everybody. Seriously, goodbye.